So thanks a lot for the invitation. Thanks a lot for the introduction. I'm here to give you an outlook on AI in the Nordics. So probably for some of you who live in the Nordics, some of this will be fairly known, and some of you it will be less known. But I'm going to do that as from my role now as I'm working in this company Silo AI. I will tell you a little bit what that is. Also from my background from my previous job as director of the Norwegian Open AI Lab, which is sometimes a competitor and sometimes a cooperator with Nora. It's a network. We've been doing a lot of good stuff together, and I've met Sachin many times in that context. So yeah, the point I wanted to bring forward, I'm sort of viewing this from where my professional career has been. I've been sort of alternating between the research side. I haven't been a researcher for many years, but on the research side of things and the business side of things. And currently I'm on the business side of things. Let's see if we can make this work. Yeah. So what's Silo? Well, basically, we call ourselves the largest private AI lab from the Nordics. We want to be a trusted AI partner with companies and organizations, and we build stuff. And that, to me, that's the key, and that was probably the main motivation for joining as well. We build stuff. We deliver less PowerPoints like this and more code, stuff that works. That's what Silo is about. Our vision is AI for people, and we believe in building AI-enabled systems that free up us humans for hopefully more stimulating and more meaningful work. And as it says, we are from the Nordics. We are headquartered in Finland. Many will think of it as a Finnish company. We've spread it now to Sweden, Denmark, and since 5 months ago also Norway. So far with one person, being myself. But we are going to build business in Norway too. And also this year we opened in Canada, and we have some representatives also other parts of the world. Maybe the most interesting part of this slide is what it says here. We've built and deployed more than 200 production-grade AI-enabled systems that's out there, and I'm not going to say all of them are still in production, but they have all been in production, and they're working and bringing value. And this is the story. I'm not going to give you all this. Started about in 2017, sort of a founders team in Finland. Well-known people in Finland. Some of the legacy from Nokia. It's grown, and I think the sound engineer went away and the sound stopped working. But I'll speak out while that's being sorted out. So it's doubled, roughly doubled every year since 2017 in terms of number of people until last year. So hard to keep that curve, but we're now roughly 250 people, and roughly half of these 250 people are peoples like probably many in these rooms with strong research backgrounds, academic backgrounds, PhD level experts. And you notice Trondheim, of course, as the technology capital of Norway. That's where I live, so that's the reason it says Trondheim. Okay. So what am I going to talk about? Well, I'll talk about the Nordic state of AI, and I'll very soon come back to it. I'll give you some example use cases, And not all of those use cases will be maybe as flashy and cool as ChatGPT, but that's for a purpose, because a lot of the stuff that we build and deploy isn't necessarily about groundbreaking stuff. It's about, taking technology that's mature, taking problems that needs to be solved, and basically help people solve them and bring value. So some of them are, you might think it's mundane and simple. Well, it needs to be done, and we're doing it. And then the last part of this talk, I will talk about how to create value, and ChatGPT was already mentioned here. How in a world with the big tech companies are, other players also are needed in that ecosystem to help bring that value to the people and to the end users. So I will talk about AI value creation in the Nordics, basically. Is it okay? Can you hear me? Yeah. Okay. So probably part of the reason why I'm being asked to come talk about Nordic state of AI is because Silo AI every year for 2 years have released this report called the Nordic State of AI. And if you haven't seen it yet, and especially if you live here, I suggest you go download it. It's a fairly nice report with lots of contents. And the first part of this talk will be based on that material from this report. It's available from our websites. So before going, diving deep, sort of the thing I want to highlight maybe is, like at least many of us will expect, the Nordics have a high maturity. We are reasonably good at it. We're not best in the world, but we're reasonably good at it. And some of this talk stuff I will point at later will be kind of problem focused. So I think this is it's good to emphasize that we are doing well, even though I will be telling you everything that's not working afterwards. So if you, for instance, look at this, comparing the Nordic average score on this scale, whatever that is, we are above the European average scale for some different reasons. You can also, play around with the numbers and see where are the different countries on this scale. By the way, there are similar indices like this. This is not the only truth, but luckily they show similar pictures, I would say. So maybe interesting, at least from my perspective, is also to look, so where's Norway compared to the rest? And you can see, and this matches well, at least with my intuition. Finland is maybe the best country in the Nordics. I color-coded this, so it's sort of green, yellow, red for 1, 2, 3 in each category, and then black as the bottom one. So you see Finland do well, you see Sweden doing very well. Where you will find the biggest difference is on this part, on the technology sector. And again, I think it sort of matches well with my intuition. Norway, our industry structure is very much focused on oil and gas and raw materials. Unlike countries like Sweden, which have a much more advanced industry, or more mixed maybe, and they have all these, Ericssons and Volvos, and traditionally they've had all these pretty big industry companies, less raw material focused than we are in Norway. But anyway, the main purpose is showing we're doing well on a global scale. It's the technology sector, that part that's sort of the most challenging part for all the Nordic countries, and one of the reasons for that is that we have small home markets. We are small countries, while everyone's behind the USA, so by a fair margin. Okay, did I capture it all? I don't have my cheat sheet because it's too far away. So, but I'll leave it there. What's next? So what we've done? We've done surveys of we've been calling calling companies and organizations around the Nordics, ask them, of course we'll ask them to fill it in, but asking them, how do you want to use AI? What's your take on that? And what they tell us, and again, not the big surprise, they tell us it's primarily as part of a product or service, something facing customers, end users. By three quarters of the companies, that's their primary focus. There are also people, as part of production, as part of customer care. I think that is probably growing. Chatbots and stuff like that. It's on the rise. I'm pretty certain. Efficiency in the back office functions. Our focus is also on the top one, so it's sort of a good match with what we are mainly focusing on. And then, what's sort of focusing towards the problem? So what's holding us back? That's the question here. On a Nordic level. And at least, having been working in universities, I've seen. So let me tell you, when I was running the Norwegian OpenAI Lab, we had partners. The big industry companies in Norway were our partners, and I tried to ask them several times, why are you partners? Why do you partner with us? Is it because of our splendid research? Is it because of all the projects we'll do for you? But it's not. It's because they want access to the most valuable asset we have, which are the students. So access to talent and skilled workforce, that's certainly a barrier. Other things they've told us, things related to data, so practices and data itself. Those are elements holding us back. Frankly, I'm a little bit sad that isn't moving faster. I've been going to conferences for 6-7 years on AI, and still I feel like most of the talks are talking about data. Even for some of the big industrial companies that should have got their act together and make their data available so that they can draw the benefits from it. But it will happen, but it's still not fast enough. And then, well, the fourth one is this one: investments. So talent and data, those are two main takeaways, I think, from this part. Obstacles when scaling. On the talent side, I think we should also say that both Norway and the Nordics in general have an influx of AI talent. It's when I speak to companies and when I see Silo as well, it's not all that hard to get people to move to the Nordic countries to come work. It's quite it's not a very hard sell. And also we have statistics showing that the Nordic countries are pretty good at attracting AI talent. We should, I think, at least supplement that and build even more from our own students as well. But it's certainly a good potential to attract people from abroad. So there's a solution to that, I think. How about investments? So, and the question here is how do you plan to invest in AI during the upcoming 6 months? The winner here is doing experiments, experimenting, playing around with it, see what it can bring. Again, we've been in that phase for maybe too long, I feel. And even the the bigger companies in Norway tell me the same story. Like Telenor, who was a partner in AI Lab, said it's so hard to get beyond this proof of concepts phase. We keep doing proof of concepts. We're not able to deploy, and that's a very interesting topic to discuss. I think to me it's about top level management buy-in, to have them really involved. The ideas, if you ask your people, the ideas will come up, and you need to mix these two, so merge these two together. So that's experiments, as it says, recruit talent and AI infrastructure, which is again to some degree at least about data. It's about ML ops, things like that, to get your act ready for deploying stuff. Okay. And when we ask where to invest, when it comes back to this talent shortage and data related issues, it says they say that only a quarter of the firms will spend more than 1/5 of their R&D budget in AI, which is maybe not that strange, I think. But at least in my mind, AI is another tool in the toolbox. It doesn't mean you should toss away all your other tools. And most of these companies are not AI companies as such, so this is one of their tools. But yeah, so some of us think that number maybe should have been even higher. And then this is also interesting. Why aren't we in this situation with talent shortage? Why do we not invest more in our own people, in the companies around? Why don't people invest in upskilling their own people, or asking people like Silo to come in and augment their teams to start building systems? But when you ask whether you plan to adopt AI-based technologies in products or services, I was actually very surprised when I saw this data. So we ask, do you plan to adopt AI-based technologies in your products or services within 3, 6, 12, 24 months? 3, 6, 12. So within the first year, more than 2/3 of the companies say they will actually adopt AI-based technologies in products or services. I was surprised by that number. I think it's a high number. I look forward to seeing it happen. Not really sure whether it's real, but that's what they say. Okay, I'll touch briefly on each of 4 countries. So sorry, Iceland. So Denmark, I think it scores very high on this adoption rate thing. So whether you have started adopting AI, 24% of the companies say they have. One of the strong focus areas, according to this survey, was AI for fighting climate change, which is certainly very, very good. But like the others, they have this talent shortage challenge that we all have. And also like some of the others, health data is a strong potential, I would say. We're not, at least I feel, we're not able to make use of it yet to a high degree, but it's a strong potential. Norway, a bit similar, certainly similar when it comes to health data, and also this general sort of ICT maturity, 4G and internet and we have these things. What's sort of emphasized here as the stronghold is the regulatory sandbox, and that's a very good thing. It came together with the AI strategy, the government's AI strategy in 2020. It's you probably know this already. It's organized by the data protection authorities and Datatilsynet, and I think it was the second in the world after UK. So it's a very good initiative, and it's now become a permanent initiative. So it will continue to be funded. Yeah. This is probably to Sachin and the guys in Nora. So they're implementing educational AI programs with their research school, and also calls for Nordic collaboration. So we've seen a couple of the initiatives starting in Norway, having actually spread to some of the other Nordic countries, which is good, I think. And finally, Sweden, actually lowest adoption rate, which is a bit surprising, but still above EU average. It's the only country. I'm not so sure if you've seen the news that investments in AI actually has been going down in 2022, which is hugely surprising. Well, it's not. It's surprising in the way because of the buzz and hype around AI, and less surprising because of the general downturn, I suppose. And these two trends merge into this. But it's in Sweden. It's been growing in 2022, and they also have the highest percentage of ICT personnel as a part of their workforce, which I think goes back to their heritage as a advanced industrial economy. And Finland, sorry, I forgot. So Finland, 16% adoption rate, but they're scoring, overall were very well, seen in many ways as the most mature of the Nordic countries in the ICT sector. And they also have some very good universities. Okay, so my next plan was to give you just a glimpse of some few use cases. I asked, like everyone these days doing presentations, I asked Dolly to give me a illustration for AI use cases. Clearly, I'm not a very great prompt engineer, which is a new skill I've learned. So I'll just skip it there. So a few use cases that we from the silo side has been working with. First one is with Helen, which is a Helsinki energy company, and this is about energy consumption prediction. So predicting how much energy or heat will be consumed, and if you're able to predict that precisely, well, you can run your operations more efficiently, basically. Simple as that. Plenty of data. Systems problem just waiting to be solved or improved. Of course, they had models, but the show that I think it says something about reducing the error by 1/3 or something like that. So it was a good use case for AI technologies, machine learning technologies. Parcel arrival prediction. Another topic, and this is a few years back, so I'm sure there are similar models behind. If you have a parcel brought to you by Bring or DHL or someone, I would expect there to be machine learning models behind them, like this was with Posti, which is the Finnish postal company. Try to predict the likelihood that the parcel will be delivered on time. What's the next event that will happen to the parcel, and also the estimated time of arrival. So again, if you have your data in shape, it's a fairly straightforward problem to tackle. Water treatment. This was for Rambøll, which is a Nordic consultancy company. Basically giving insights about water quality depending on weather and I think predominantly weather conditions. Computer vision, clearly a area of big interest. Auria is Finland's first biobank, and this is about cancer, and it's about, well, two reasons I brought this was, one, it's about explainable AI, so it's not enough to give a good prediction, but you need to be able to explain that prediction to humans. And one of the reasons was that what they wanted to achieve with this was to have the doctors also learn from the AI. So it goes both ways, all right? AI learns from historical data which have been classified by human experts, and then you train AI, and maybe the human experts can then get new insights from seeing what the AI has done. A very similar thing has happened to chess. The modern chess players now learning from the strategies of AIs. I didn't see what number you had on that sheet of paper. What did it say, Sashi? 5. Wow. Okay. Let me then talk a little bit about AI value creation. And my plan was to do that in the context of generative AI, which is the buzzword over all buzzwords these days. Is it hype? Is it hope? Is it the revolution? And I'll skip the intros because I think all of us have learned this. I'll do some of the terminologies. So just for you to know that ChatGPT, which is, unless you've been living under a rock, everyone's heard about ChatGPT. But what is it and how is it built? Well, it's a combination of many different AI techniques. That's interesting to know. It's not only about the sort of the fill in the blank, which is the foundation of large language models or language models as such. Because it also involves this significant phase with the reinforcement learning with human feedback, and this is a hugely this involves a lot of human labor actually, and that's maybe the main point I want to bring here, that it's not. ChatGPT isn't necessarily. It's certainly an advance, and it's an eye-opener, but it's not necessarily a scientific advance, because how to train the GPT models have been known for some years. The transformer model is from 2017, but it has certainly popularized this, and it's given us a user interface that we can interact with, and to me that's a big thing. All of us, and not you, not me and you, because we are kind of experts in this field, but everyone can now interact with it knowingly and sort of get that wow factor from it. And I think that's what happened. They did a splendid job at making this, available to everyone. And it's, in the end, it's all about user friendliness. The model was the GPT 3.5, which was underlying the ChatGPT, wasn't a scientific, a huge advance in itself. So it highlights the importance of engineering work. It takes more than algorithms. It takes also great engineering, and it takes every other trait of good product development, user involvement, user friendliness, all these aspects of it. So that's a key thing. Foundation models, I'll skip that, except saying that foundation models, so the big tech want us to think that foundation models are there for them to provide to us, and that's it. To me, foundation model means it's a foundation to build something, or it's a foundation for us to tune those models to new applications, specifically targeting specific domains. And that's what the foundation model is for me. So generative AI is happening in all areas: text, voice, image, video, computer code, protein shapes, audio, 3D models, you name it. It's coming to more and more modalities. And there's a huge range of models out. Some black box, proprietary, some open. And that's a very exciting thing, that there will be openly available models. So I'll close on this one. So what then? How can we play a role in this? How should we play a role in this? So this is the value chain of generative AI. It could be seen as a value chain of AI. If you know, a few things will be different. But starting from the left, computer hardware. This is for the NVIDIAs and the AMDs of the world. Tough area to break into. There have been people who are trying. Even a half Norwegian company tried, GraphCore, and tried to break in here. Cloud platforms, again, I don't know about you. I don't have a taste for sort of trying to be a Microsoft or a Google or Amazon. Very tough to break in. This is about giving the rest of us access to that hardware without breaking our budgets. Then we have the foundation models, and that's interesting. So even a company like Silo is involved in building foundation models. So we're doing that for some of the local languages. But we're not doing it ourselves. We're doing it in partnerships with the universities in Finland and Sweden to this point, to build versatile and large AI models. And then those models, as I said, they need to be tuned and adapted to your domain and to your data, so that you can build models that will be useful in your specific context. We will play here. We will play some here. We will certainly play here. And then it's about building applications on top of that, giving the user the access to the models. And those people, you know, end users, not AI experts, but end users who need it to solve some kind of problem or improve their efficiency or whatever. So these applications need to be built. And then, of course, there will be lots of services around this, and there will be new skills. I also already mentioned the prompt engineer. So prompt engineering is a new field. AI trainer is a new field. There will be people, and there will be people training prompt engineers and training AI trainers, and they will also be playing here. And again, we should play a role, because some of that is how you build your values into the models. So what you do in your reinforcement learning with human feedback is also part of what will bring your values into the models. Okay, and this is about how we do that in Silo. This is what we call SiloGen. It's about generative AI in Silo, and it's matched to the previous value chain I showed you, so I will not spend time. Okay, I'll end on this note. I think we're just about to start. We're starting. We've seen the trailer. The movie will be long. There's a lot of advances in front of us, but it's as it was. We heard it from the start. It's certainly a very, very exciting time to be involved in this field. Thank you.
Thank you, Trym. A round of applause. I think